Okay, let's move on here. The next guy in the NFC. Oh, this is your dude, man. I want you to pull out the guitar here, Frankie. Austin Eckler leaving the Los Angeles Chargers and going to the Washington Commanders. Really interesting signing here. Lay it out for us, man.
I mean, guys, crazy interesting signing. This is something that I don't think anybody saw coming, right? Like, I thought he was going to be a Charger, John. I really did. I thought they'd figure out a way to pay him, right? Austin Eckler's been a mega part of their offense for years. And they were just like, hey, screw, we're going to cut ties. And it's kind of like the running back market dried up really quick. So that's what kind of landed him in that of Washington. What's interesting here and what's interesting with Austin Eckler, John, is he has never truly wanted to be a bell cow. He's been very similar to that of Tony Pollard, right? To where, hey, I'm good for a couple really good runs. I'm good for, 15 to 20 touches as long as it's a mix of that of receiving and that of rushing, right? You're not going to want to run him 15, 20 times specifically just rushing between the tackles. That's not who this guy is. And so, John, now you look at where he is ended up with that of the Commanders, he's going to be playing alongside of Brian Robinson, right? Which is really, really interesting because Brian Robinson showed a lot of promise early on. Dude, sidebar, I'll never forget him walking out with many men playing after he got shot. I mean, dude, I had fucking goosebumps everywhere. I mean, just so cool. And now I'm thinking like, okay, cool. So you got that type of cat that he's going to be playing with, which is, I think could be really, really beneficial for Austin Eckler. And then in terms of John, what did he sign for? It was a 2-year deal, right? He signed for 2 years, $8 million, $3 million guaranteed. And one of the other interesting call outs was that Austin Eckler, from a stats perspective, he had a very down year. But here was his stats. Austin Eckler ended up having 628 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 51 receptions, 436 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. So, John, for me, man, it's really interesting because as much as he was talked about having a down year, I mean, the dude still had over 1,000 total yards. And so when you replicate that with a Jayden Daniels, when you replicate that now on a team with Terry McLaurin and that of Jahan Dotson and Ben Sinnott that they got out of the draft, he's kind of interesting, man. He's kind of interesting, especially the value you can get him.
Yeah, he is. It is interesting. I mean, we're not really sure how he's going to be utilized. Brian Robinson probably is going to be the starter. He's going to be the guy probably getting the ball most first and second downs. So Austin Eckler is kind of coming into that Antonio Gibson role that was there previously. So I'm not sure exactly how things are going to shake out. You've got a new quarterback. We still have Terry McLaurin and you still have Jahan Dotson on the outside. So it's really interesting. And it's almost a similar situation, really, to DeAndre Swift. I mean, it's just kind of an older version of DeAndre Swift. Rookie quarterback, very, very mobile quarterback. But the question there also with Jayden Daniels is he going to run the ball more than he's going to be dumping it off to Austin Eckler? That's the difference with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams wants to throw the ball first and then run. Jayden Daniels, typically in his film, if that first read isn't open, he's taken off. So I'm not sure that may develop, at least early on for Austin Eckler. It could be more PPR second half of the year. Not really sure there. So it's interesting. He is a guy that I'm interested in. Luckily, you don't have to take not a big price tag for him. Last year, he finished the running back 29. I ended up missing 3 games. He's currently being drafted as the running back 29, ADP of 90. You can get him really late here. So to me, he's one of those guys that I do like putting in when I'm drafting 4, 5, 6 running backs potentially, and depending on the league I'm in. He's one of the guys I like to have in that mix because he could be very, very interesting, especially in a PPR.
And John, what's crazy too is this is a guy, think about the fall off here. Like this is a guy for the last 4 years who's been drafted 1, 2, 3, 4, not just first round, top 4 picks. And now because this has changed, right now he's going to Washington. Now you're telling me that he's dropping to the ADP of 90 guys. It's round 8 or 9. Like I just think, John, to your point, if you can get him at running back 4, at your running back 4, this could be a league winner. Like I really believe that. I mean, if he ends up sitting on the sideline, quote unquote, he won't be sitting on the sideline, but I'm saying taking a second fiddle to that of Brian Robinson until the second part of the season. Could you imagine that uplift on your fantasy team or the trade value that you could provide? All I'm saying is I don't think he will revert back to a top 4 pick. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying it's in there somewhere. And I think that if you are able to get Austin Ekeler and hold on and see how this transpires, he could absolutely be that guy like a Puka in the sense that you get him super late in your draft that could provide a fuckload of value towards the back end of your season.
Nice low price tag with the
Yep.
possibility of really high upside. That's what I like about him.